Right then, let's do this. So, I think we should put in some type of forfeit for anyone that's late from next week. So, how to kill overwhelm for good. And overwhelm isn't a workload problem. It's not a time problem. It's an identity problem. And today we fix that shit. So, let's start. So, what we're going to cover today, the real reason, okay, so why overwhelm keeps coming back, and it might not be what you think. The identity reset, a simple identity level reset you can use the moment overwhelm hits. And a really interesting one, the bad day protocol, your exact action plan for what when life implodes. Okay. So we're going to cover the overwhelm lie, the real problem, the story behind it, the three-part fix, and going over the bad day protocol. And then we'll finish up with a bit of a Q&A. Okay. So pulse check in the comments, ladies. Are we ready to go? Are we switched on? Are we focused? Are we not faffing around doing weird shit? Are we concentrating? Let me know in the comments and we'll get started. Smashing. Right. Let's get the show on the road. So, the overwhelm lie. Cool. The overwhelm lie. Let's get stuck in. So, every time you say, I'm just so overwhelmed right now, you feel like you're describing a situation. Like, overwhelm is something that happened to you. Like, the world got too busy and just kind of showed up. Okay? Overwhelm isn't a workload problem, like I said, it's an identity problem. Because I have worked with women who manage multi-million pound businesses. Okay. They also raise kids and they also train 3 times a week. And they don't live in overwhelm. And I've worked with women who have half of that on their plate and they're drowning in it. The difference has nothing to do with how busy they are. Okay. So when we say that we are overwhelmed, it usually isn't a case of the fact that we haven't got enough time or we've got loads of things going on at the minute. Okay, it might feel like that, but it's very rarely the case. The real problem. So what most people do, they write a list, they reorganize the calendar, they kind of batch load tasks, download another kind of scheduling app. They try to think their way out of it, and it works for a couple of days. Then overwhelm comes back because you treated the symptom, not the cause. Okay? Who here has kind of can you know relate to that? Writing yet another list, reorganize the calendar, trying to switch stuff around and, trying to really just maneuver the way out of that. And then ended up back at square one. Yeah, yeah. And you know what? I've been there. I've 100% been there. And the three sources of overwhelm. So there's no clear identity anchor. You don't know who you are when things get hard. And this, what you'll find is a lot of the subjects that we go through kind of make reappearances. Things like the 40% rule, things like the identity protocol. Okay. The all or nothing thinking. If you can't do it perfectly, you don't do it all. Who's guilty of that? Shut up, you. What are you doing? Russell. No protocol for chaos. When life goes sideways, you have no pre-made decisions ready to go. Pamela, me, but I'm getting better. Yeah, I would agree with that, Pam. 100%. Overwhelm is what happens when you have no identity anchor, when you don't know who you are under pressure. The pressure decides for you. And I think a lot of us can get swamped in that, is making decisions based within overwhelm when we're under pressure, when life goes to shit. And I see this a lot where life goes to chaos or something significant might happen that causes them stress or whatever it is, could be job, kids, relationship breakdown, some serious stuff to be fair. However, the problem is when life goes to chaos because they're not aligning their identity with the person they want to be, the first thing they do is they quit on their journey. They quit on, kind of who they're trying to become. Okay? The first moment that life gets a bit busy or a bit chaotic or a bit difficult, the first thing they do is turn away from themselves. And that's the worst thing we can do. Okay? I myself personally, after years of working on myself, I'm now in a position where it kind of works the opposite for me. So if I'm going under a lot of stress, if I've got a lot on my plate and my mental health's, dragging a bit and got a lot of things going around, the first thing that I do is anchor in to my personal identity and my self-care, my training, my nutrition, my sleep, my self-care in general. Because I've learned over years and years of doing this that if I don't do that, everything that I'm trying to deal with, everything that I'm finding difficult becomes more difficult, more strenuous. Okay? So, as you know, a bit of my backstory, but some of you might not. Um, there was a period before the business that I rebuilt. So basically, I lost um, a business that I kind of built from the ground up. My first ever gym that I opened. I put everything into it, and essentially, I trusted the wrong people, and I kind of got double crossed out of that business. I had to walk away. I didn't have to, but I did in a way. Um, not long after that, my mum passed away. Um, and everything I'd spent like 5 years building was just gone overnight. And then on top of that, I found out I was going to be a dad. Okay, so still grieving the loss of my mum. Um, Lost my business, no income, no hope, and then a child on the way. Okay, very horrible situation. And yeah, I remember being sat in my car 2 in the morning after driving from hospital to hospital asking for help. Um, and it was that time where I had to question, like, who was I? Because I'd been through difficult times in the past. I'd put myself forward to do difficult things. When I joined the military, I was consistently putting myself forward to get to a higher level and to be the very best person I could be. I was almost obsessed with it. But I had to ask myself, in that time of real difficulty, who the fuck was I like? Because at the time, I felt weak. I felt pathetic. I felt a failure. All these things, and maybe you've been in a situation where you felt the same, just failing at life, And that's the real face of overwhelm. It's not a busy calendar; it's an identity crisis disguised as a scheduling problem. The moment everything changed wasn't when I got more organized. It was when I decided who I was going to be. And I remember, like it was yesterday, in fact, that realization of thinking, "Oh shit, nobody's going can help me get through this, or no one's going to do it for me." If I was to get back on my feet and to reach my potential again and become the person I knew I could be, it started from here. It started from me. And that decision became my identity anchor. And it was the end of the chronic overwhelm that I was feeling at that point. And every time that I feel overwhelmed now or stressed or maybe a bit of a dip in mood and a dip in mental health, I go back to that time where it felt almost impossible. Everything felt impossible. I didn't want to leave the house for days. Um, and I remember that time and thinking, well, remember that fucking period of your life where everything was crumbling and you picked yourself up. And I didn't just pick myself up, I went all in on myself. It was the first time that I hired my first coach, first time that I got a therapist, had counseling, had a business mentor. Like I went all in. I had to. And at the time, all these like therapists, business mentors, coaches, as you can imagine, it wasn't fucking cheap. And I hired my first coach for a 3-month program was £6,000. And I put it on a credit card. And I thought, I've got nothing to lose. Like, I've got to make this work. I didn't even give it the chance. I didn't even consider failure because it had to work. And my client, Sarah, she's a senior executive, two kids, team of 30. I think she's about a team of 50 now because she's been promoted again. She had the same breakthrough. You will see her results and story on my page on Thursday morning if you keep your eye on. And within 8 weeks of identity work, her workload hadn't changed. In fact, it got busier. But she was no longer overwhelmed because she knew who she was and she stopped negotiating with it. So even though she was a high flying, high powered business CEO, senior executive, that's all she ever knew. So in the boardrooms and the meetings and the business calls, she was an absolute fucking machine. But when it came down to this was different. And we had to change our identity to who she truly was. So when you're facing times of overwhelm, this is going to be your three-part fix. I want you to really absorb these in. Install your identity anchor. And I want us all to do this tonight and put it in the chat. So finish this sentence. I am the woman who, fill the blank, and I do not negotiate on that. Present tense, identity level, not I want to be, I fucking am. When overwhelm hits, you now have a fixed point to anchor to. So in the chat, how many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 people. Right. In the chat, ladies, make it nice and snappy. Finish the sentence. I'm the woman who, bump. Who are you? And it's very easy to think, oh, I want to be that woman who, I'd love to be that woman. Be her. Be her now. Start the identity immediately. Because it is that simple. It can be that quick. Because when I was sat in my car, fucking all over the show, I had to tell myself, like, this is who you are. You are someone who is fucking relentless. You are someone who kind of has the tenacity to go through the toughest times and come out, not just come out of it, but come out on top, come out better, better than ever. And I've seen this happen a lot with some of you here right now, in fact, where you've been through tough times, you've been through difficulty, you've been through self-doubt, nearly quitting on yourself, and we managed to turn it around, and now you are a fucking different person, an absolute force. Carrie, me lately, no fucks given anymore. It's me for me. I'm fucking proud of myself. Given up the last few weeks, kicked me down, but I still strong. Yeah, Carrie's prime example of exactly what I'm talking about. Donna, as a young person, I had no option to be a caregiver. I was 8 years old. I've cared for everyone since. I don't want to do anymore. Yeah, it's time to care for you, then, isn't it? 100%, Donna. Kel, I'm the woman who will show up first for herself to be the best version of myself for me and my family. Yeah, love it. Carrie, I'm the woman who will always push myself no matter what. I'll always find a way to come out better than yesterday. Yeah, like that. Really like that. Eleanor, I am the woman who will not give up striving to be a better version of myself. Smashed it. Love it. Donna, I'm the woman who won't give up without fight with whoever or more myself. Yeah, like it. Pamela, I'm a woman who isn't afraid to put myself first. Yes. And isn't that what this program's about, ladies? Putting ourselves first and not being afraid to, not feeling guilty to, not feeling like we need to make excuses to or apologize for that. And who are we apologizing to when we talk about this? Who are we apologizing to? Why is it that we feel guilty? Because if you should be able to tell everyone around you, your closest circle, your kids, your partner, best friends, family. If you said to them, right, you know, I'm not really happy with where I am right now. That's why you're all here, right? At one stage, that's what you thought. So I'm gonna get myself some support. I'm going to hire a fucking the world's best coach, and I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna get myself in shape. I'm gonna be fit, strong, happy, healthy, confident. If anyone in that circle causes friction towards that, if anyone doesn't get on board with that and support you, they are not your people. Don't care what anyone says. How can they be? I want to do it for me, myself, and I. Yes, that's what we're here for. Who is iPhone 7, by the way? What's your name? Who is it? Show yourself. No one. If they don't like it, can they bugger the other way and bugger off? Yeah, fucking right. Rupert, welcome to your first live, your first classroom session. Good to see you, mate. So that's our identity. That's who we are. All right. And like I said, if anyone doesn't like it, they can get fucked. Right. Number two, deploy the 40% rule. And some of you might be sick to the back teeth of me banging on about this 40% rule. And frankly, I don't give a shit because it works, it's effective, and it makes sense. If you only have 40% to give today and you give that 40%, you have given 100%. A 20-minute walk counts, a 10-minute meal counts. The woman who gives 40% and still shows up builds unstoppable consistency. And let's just nail this right now. Who was I speaking to about this today? Can't remember. I've literally just had a chat with someone. And this works because sometimes we are only going to have limited amounts of energy and limited amounts of time. So rather than do nothing, which might have been the old routine, we do something because something is always better than nothing. And that is the definition of consistency, ladies, is doing what you can when you can. It's that simple. Okay. Donna, my family may take the piss, but they're totally on board. We don't mind a bit of piss taking. I mean, Jesus, if you couldn't handle a bit of piss taking, this would be a terrible place for you to be because, as you know, I love taking the piss. It gets me through the day. And eliminate decision fatigue. And we spoke about this last week. Every day you're making decisions you've already made before. The fix is non-negotiable anchors, pre-made decisions you don't revisit. 3 workouts this week, decided. When the decision is already made, overwhelm has nowhere to live. Let that sink in. When the decision is already made, overwhelm has nowhere to live. If you keep negotiating with yourself, overwhelm's going to take over. So if you're lying in bed and you're feeling a bit tired and you're thinking, oh God, I've got to get up at 6, otherwise I won't be able to train, but I could just train later, in fact. I'll train this afternoon or I'll just put it onto this that as soon as you start negotiating like that, overwhelm's going to kick in because things are going to stack, things are going to compound. All right? Eliminate that decision fatigue. If you say you're going to do something, if that's on your non-negotiable list, decide there and then that is happening. Okay? So my non-negotiables are to train each morning, every morning, apart from the weekend. Take the weekend off, unless I really want to train. But Monday to Friday, that alarm goes off at 5. How many mornings do you think out of that 5 I jump out of bed thinking fucking lovely stuff? Let's go and exercise. Let's get in the car, drive 35 minutes and go and train. Possibly one, if I'm lucky. But thankfully, it's non-negotiable for me. I'm not fatiguing my decision making ability that day because it's who I am. That's part of my identity. I train in the morning. That's what I do. It makes me feel good. It gives me good mental focus and clarity. If I'm going to lead all you girls to success, I need to practice what I preach. Just before we move on to this, ladies, I'd be really interested to know because I've been sitting on the sideline watching a couple of coaches and influencers online lately. Can't I think I've made my mind up, but there's one in particular that's triggering me to fuck. Do you think it's acceptable for a coach helping people get in shape and diet and exercise to lose body fat, be body confident? Do you think it's acceptable for that coach to be overweight? And I say overweight. Obviously, weight is not a good indicator of anything really. According to weight, I am obese. But when I'm talking like she is, her BMI is probably about 40. She's really overweight. And I don't, and the reason it's triggering me is she portrays herself as like a body confidence coach to help women who feel unsafe in gyms. So her kind of way around is to say, well, I'm overweight and I still go to the gym, so it's okay. So they feel more comfortable with me, and I don't know. I get some of it, but I just think I don't know. I don't know. I can't make my mind up on it, and I think she's very jarring as well. I think she makes the gym sound a horrific place for people to go to. She really leans into the fact that, oh, if you're overweight, people watch you, they say remarks. People in the gym will do this, they'll do that. So come to me and I'll help. And I know that's bullshit. I know some of the nicest people that will ever meet are in the gym. And I've never once seen someone making shitty remarks to someone who might be a bit overweight or someone who's a beginner or someone who's obviously starting their journey. I've never seen it in 20 years. And if I did see it, I would literally fold them up like a deck chair. But I've never seen it. I was just wondering, yeah, wondering what you thought. Donna, my late mum said, don't put off until tomorrow what you can do today. Yeah, 100%. That's a great phrase. Kind of like my old slimming work consultant practice. Yeah, don't know. Anyway, I've totally digressed and I just wanted to get your opinion on that. Right, next. The bad day protocol. This is an important one, okay? Some days life doesn't care about your systems. The car breaks down, the kids are ill, the email that wrecks your morning arrives at 7 a.m. Most people abandon everything and feel like they've failed. Not anymore. So this is how it should look. You wake up and you're at 80 to 100%. You've had a good night's sleep. You know, you're feeling good, you've got good energy, positive mindset. So we're going in for a full training session. Nutrition should be bang on. All non-negotiables ticked off. The win, you showed up fully because you could show up fully. If you can, you should. Okay. If you're operating at like 40 to 80%, so it's a pretty hard day, got some shit going on. Minimum viable workout 20 minutes. So you say, right, okay, feeling fucking tired today, feeling a bit emotional, might be, that time of month. So I'm just going to do 20 minutes. And I'm going to make sure I have protein every meal. One non-negotiable only today. Does that sound like a fail attempt? Does that sound like a shit day to still do a 20-minute workout, have good high protein meals, and keeps you one non-negotiable? It's not as it. The win is you didn't abandon yourself that day when things got a bit tough. You need to realize, ladies, how much of a win this actually is. How important those hard days are that you use this bad day protocol. So, nightmare strikes. You've got fuck all to give. You're feeling very low. You've got that bare minimum 40%. So what do? We go for a 10-minute walk. We have one high protein meal. And we remind ourselves, I'm still here. The identity I said, that identity protocol, I'm still here. I'm keeping my identity alive by just getting out, getting some fresh air, and not self-sabotaging, not falling or folding like a wet cardboard box, right? It's not all or nothing, it's always something. And something always wins over nothing. Okay? If you girls want to screenshot this or take a picture of this, do it now. So if you do have one of those bad days or one of those crisis days, just remind yourself this is what a win looks like on those days. Okay? Overwhelm is not going to disappear from your life. Life is busy, it's messy, sometimes it's shit. And it will throw things at you that you didn't see coming. All right? Cars. You are the woman who doesn't negotiate with her health, even when it's hard. And in fact, especially when it's hard. You've got an identity anchor. You've got the 40% rule, so not perfect, no longer means nothing. And you've got a pre-made protocol for the days when life decides to be a complete knobhead. So, takeaway toolkit. Let this sink in. So we covered the identity anchor. I'm the woman who, and I don't fucking negotiate on that. That is who I am. Use every morning, every time overwhelm appears. In fact, write it in your notes, screenshot it, put it as your screensaver as your phone. Write it down, put it on your work screen, put it in your car. But don't fucking forget it. So many of you are so highly capable, and all of you are 100% capable of achieving incredible things. Otherwise, quite simply, ladies, you would not be here. I spoke to Karen this morning, and I said the same thing to her. I've known Karen for a while, and I said, I think you're forgetting who you actually fucking are. You are, what did I call her? What did I call her? A bolshy bitch in the most loving sense possible. But she knew exactly what I meant. She is a bolshy bitch. That's what I love about her. She is an absolute warrior, but I think over the last couple of weeks she just forgot it, and I had to remind her. Don't forget who you are. The 40% rule. Give what you have. This is your 100% today. Use when you feel like it's not worth showing up. Give what you have. What else could you ever do apart from give what you have? If you listen to this, ladies, if you give what you had every single day, where the fuck would you be in 6 months' time? I'm not saying you're going to get it right every day, but if you adopted this 40% rule and give everything you could each day, even if it felt like nothing, even if it was just a 10-minute walk, you, your life, your identity, your levels of health, strength, fitness, and confidence would be unrecognizable in 6 months. And in a year, you'd be taking my job. I'm not even fucking messing. And I had a conversation with a mentor that I worked with last year, and I still can't get it out of my head. And it was the most, what's the word? Freeing. I felt like it freed me from my own bullshit. He said to me, right, Adam, if you were promised everything you ever wanted in 12 months' time, so the next 12 months you had everything. The physique you've always wanted, the business you've always wanted, to be working with the perfect type of client, everything you ever wanted that you're working for right now, what would you be prepared to do every day for the next year? And I was like, I don't know. I said, no, write it down. What would you be prepared to give and do every single day for the next year if I could guarantee you had everything you ever wanted? So I wrote down this list, and there's about 10 things on the list. And at that time, I thought I was working hard. I thought I was doing a lot. And to the average person, I was, I suppose, but sorry, but fuck average. I would, the thought of being average scares the shit out of me. But I wrote this list down anyway, and out of that 10, regularly I was doing about four a day. So the issue was, I was convincing myself that I was giving it my all, but actually I was holding back. And by holding back, I was holding back on potential. And as soon as I started doing those 10 things on the list, or at least attempting to each day and giving what I had, everything changed. It was such a big shift. I can't even describe. Non-negotiable anchors, three pre-decided weekly commitments. Obviously, we do this through check-in, so you've got no excuse on this. But it's up to you to not revisit them, to anchor them in. Build the week around them every Sunday after check-in. Bad day protocol, three-tier system, 80%, 40% crisis mode. Always something, never nothing. Use the momentum life goes when life goes sideways. And the identity statement. Even on a bad day, I am still here. Your crisis day reset phrase. Once you build this identity, ladies, and you stick to it and you truly believe it, no one can take that away from you. No one can take that away from you. Whatever people say, whatever people do, if we hold on to that identity, it can be life changing. So, next steps lead today with action, not just inspiration. Write your anchor identity, complete the statement today, and I want you to DM me it later after this call. Lock in your three non negotiables. Again, don't really have to do that because I'm going to do that for you every Sunday. Screenshot the bad day protocol. You should have already done that. And rate your current capacity. In fact, let's do this now. If I was to say to you girls, what capacity are you operating at within the program right now? I'm talking everything. How well are you sticking to your program? How well are you communicating and connecting with me and the tribe? Are you showing up to stuff like this on a Tuesday? Yes, you are. But deep down, an honest answer out of 10, what's your current capacity as we speak right now? Pound maybe 7, Donna 5. Kel, some parts 100, some parts 10, some parts 50, 60. So obviously I asked to rate your capacity out of 1 and 10. So Kelly starts with 100, and then 50, and then 60. So can someone translate? Because I don't know what you fucking going on about. If. Uh, Donna, it's truly amazing that you believe in us because when I've been on floor, you've truly picked me up. But I do. And sometimes the thing is, Donna, that what I've learned as well, when you don't believe in yourself, sometimes it's going to require someone else to believe in you before you do yourself. And I've been there. Like when I first had my first coach, when I was going through probably the worst time of my life, and hopefully the worst time ever in my life, I had no belief left. I was on the floor. And the coach that I picked, I, I picked him specifically because I'd known him for years. I think he was quite surprised when I reached out to him and said, I need your help. But it was his, I suppose it was his cadence, the way that he spoke, his energy. I was like, I fucking need that. I wish I was like you. And he literally did pick me up, and I'll be forever grateful of him. And yeah, sometimes it takes someone else to believe in you until you truly do for yourself. And I feel very privileged to be that person for people out there. 7, 7, 5, 5-ish, 47%. How am I the monk if you got it wrong, Kelly? You absolute spectre. Oh my God. Bam, that's so true, Adam. I believe I can do this because you believe I can. I know you can. There's belief and then there's knowing. And like you said, you ladies, if I there's a reason, and I had this conversation with Rupa before she joined this week, last week, sorry, and I said because we got on quite well on the call, and she had a good feeling for it. She'd only just come across my page, and something grabbed her, and I said like, it's really important that you get someone gets you. And if I didn't believe, and my point was that's the reason I get people on a Zoom call. It's not to sell them the program. It's not my job to convince them to join the program. It's not the way I operate. It's to see if if I want to work with them, and I think we would be a good match working together. Because if I didn't think that you had what it take, if I didn't think you were joining for the right reasons and that I could get the very best out of you, I wouldn't allow you to join the program. And over, I'd say maybe the past 6 weeks of doing calls with people who are interested in joining the program, I think I've allowed 60% in ish. The other 40%, I told them to go away and think about it, or I said maybe this isn't the right fit or the right time just quite now, and give them something to go away with and do at least. It's not it's not a marketing ploy. Thankfully, I am in a position in my career that's took me 20 years to get to where I can choose who I work with. So my point is that the self-belief doesn't come from me just blowing smoke up your ass. It's because I truly believe it for you and I truly want it to happen. Like I take my work far too personally. People said that it was due to the ADHD. You take everything a bit too personally and you read things a bit into things a bit too much. I don't know if that is the case. I think it's just a cop out. But I do take my job too seriously. Things trigger me, things upset me. Um, but I think if you don't care in that manner, if you don't take it personally, you shouldn't be doing this job. That's my own kind of thought process on it. Other coaches would disagree, but fuck them. I'm not other coaches. So yeah, ladies, get it into your thick skulls, will you? You can achieve incredible things, and people think joining a program and hire a coach is all about, I want to lose a few inches, then I'll be happy. I want to lose a stone and a half, then I'll be confident. You know, girls now, don't you, that it doesn't work like that, and it's not all about that. It's about unlocking potential. It's about using this newfound confidence to then experience life at a higher level. And yeah, obviously the way we look, our appearance does play into that. It is a big factor, but it's just one piece of the puzzle. If we don't align this identity, if we don't truly back ourselves and believe ourselves, we'll always be thinking, what if? We'll always be living in regret, and living in regret is really fucking tough, I believe. We don't want to be getting to like 70 years old and thinking, oh, I wish I'd looked after myself more because now I'm fucked. You know what I mean? Now I can hardly move. I've got to take all these fucking medications and pills. And I said this to Karen actually yesterday. I think it hit home with her. She was saying, she couldn't commit to it. She struggling to find the time. I said, listen, you either find the time to get fit and healthy, or you are going to have no choice but to have to find time to be sick and unwell at some point. Does everyone agree with that? Does everyone understand what I'm saying? If you don't make time to do it now, if you don't voluntarily suffer in this and put yourself forward and push yourself, get stronger and get fitter, if you don't do it now, you will have no choice but to make time to be sick and unwell at some stage in your life. No one gets away with it. And I think a lot of people go through their lives with maybe really healthy metabolic rates and they never really feel the need or the urgency to look after their health until it's too late. Then what? Anyway, you know what I mean. We always digress. I always go off on a bit of a tangent, so I do apologize. So I'm just going to stop the share now and pause it there.